One document, signed to end a war. But read it closely, and it isn't one message, it's four. Washington reads deterrence, Tehran reads recognition, Israel reads risk, and Lebanon reads consequences. Same text, four different realities. This is the psychology of a memorandum of understanding. Start with what a memorandum like this actually does. It isn't just a contract, it's a signal. A good one can clarify, but it can also deliberately blur because vague language lowers the friction today, while quietly storing the conflict for later. For Washington, ambiguity buys room. For Tehran, it preserves dignity. The same sentence can serve opposite needs. That's the trick. Ambiguity isn't the accident in these deals. Very often, it is the mechanism. So, how does Washington read it? As management, not trust, management. The deal ended an unpopular war, reopened the Strait of Hormuz, and bought time. Restrained, backed by force. What matters to Washington isn't the ceremony, it's the implementation language, the parts that can be enforced or quietly delayed. And it has to reassure three audiences at once: Congress, allies, and the markets. A document that lowers risk without ever resolving the mistrust underneath. But that is only one reading. Tehran reads the same page very differently, as recognition, as survival with its dignity intact. Remember, its supreme leader was killed on the first day of the war, and the state still walked out standing, signing as an equal, not a defeated power. So the text cannot look like surrender. Even a limited deal can be sold at home as breathing room, and as proof that pressure didn't break it. And the ambiguity Washington uses to manage, Tehran uses to maneuver. Who verifies and how? The vaguer the answer, the more room to move. Same clause, opposite proof. And that is where Israel comes in. Add a third audience, and the meaning shifts again. Because this deal doesn't stay between Washington and Tehran, it lands on Lebanon. The memorandum declares an end to military operations there, a ceasefire meant to cover Israel, Hezbollah, and the south. But Israel says it isn't bound by it. It has refused to pull back from southern Lebanon. Its forces even cross the Litani. On the ground, wording becomes geography. A line on a map, a river, a zone where security language has to mean something, or it means nothing. For Israel, vague terms don't read as peace, they read as a loophole. And if enforcement is unclear, deterrence becomes a matter of perception. The whole region is watching for exactly that, reading not just the text, but who looks strong, who blinked, and who is now exposed. One document, four strategic stories. Ambiguity may stop the next strike. It can also postpone a much larger argument. So here's the takeaway. This isn't a reading problem, it's a design. Strategic ambiguity lets rivals walk away, each claiming a different win. That is often how diplomacy works at all. But every unresolved clause has a geography, and every geography writes its own reading. US, Iran, Israel, Lebanon. The same text, four different realities. Because the real question was never what the memorandum says, it's who gets to define what it meant.